Emily stepped onto the cracked pathway leading to the Parker estate, its broken windows reflecting pale moonlight, while whispers of past residents seemed to greet her cautiously from the shadows surrounding the derelict building. The estate loomed silently, casting jagged shadows across the yard, and every instinct in Emily's body screamed that the whispered legends she had once ignored might now be alive, ready to engulf her entirely in darkness. Creaking boards beneath her careful steps echoed through the cold night air, carrying sound across long, empty hallways, as though the house itself had grown aware of her intrusion and observed each hesitant movement she made. A draft swept through the open doorway, carrying faint scents of damp wood, rust, and decay, while whispers circled her ears, calling out her name softly, coaxing her into the heart of the unknown darkness that waited. Emily's flashlight flickered across peeling wallpaper, illuminating warped furniture covered in dust, shadows stretching unnaturally along the walls, silently moving whenever she blinked, as though the estate was not merely abandoned, but alive, aware, and watching her closely. She froze when a floorboard groaned from somewhere above, followed by whispers she could not locate, repeating subtle warnings that her rational mind denied, yet every instinct urged her to believe, drawing her deeper into the estate's eerie presence. Her hands trembled as she gripped the stair railing, metal cold and slick beneath her fingers, and every step upward made the air heavier, pressing in on her while unseen eyes seemed to track each motion deliberately and patiently. At the top of the staircase, the long hallway stretched ahead, dimly lit by a flickering light that cast shifting shadows along cracked walls, while faint whispers of her name seemed to come from every corner of the silent, decaying house. Emily felt a chill crawl up her spine as whispers grew louder, coalescing into fragments of warning and plea, as though someone, or something, had been waiting for her long enough to learn every detail of her life perfectly. A sudden thud behind her made her whirl around, flashlight trembling in hand, revealing only empty hallways and swinging doors that had not moved moments before, amplifying her growing certainty that the house itself was breathing and alive around her. Her pulse quickened as a low scraping sound echoed from the hall's far end, accompanied by faint flickering orange light that revealed nothing but darkness, as though daring her to cross its threshold into a world she could not comprehend. She took a careful step forward, following the orange glow toward a staircase descending into darkness, each step creaking under her weight, while air grew thick and oppressive, carrying an unnerving sense that someone was waiting below to observe her. The staircase seemed longer than memory suggested, the house warping subtly around her, every whisper intensifying, guiding her toward the source of the disturbance, while shadows twisted unnaturally, bending toward the orange glow and stretching as if alive with intent. Her flashlight illuminated the doorway of a room filled with broken furniture, torn paintings, and warped objects arranged at impossible angles, as though the house had reshaped itself over decades to trap anyone who dared enter its secret. A sudden metallic clang resonated somewhere deep inside, followed by slow, deliberate footsteps that matched her own heartbeat, making it impossible to determine whether the sounds belonged to someone tangible or to the house itself as a living entity. Emily's breath caught as a faint figure appeared at the far end of the room, barely visible yet undeniably human in shape, while the whispers coalesced into words she could not ignore, repeating ominously, "Emily, you are ours now, forever." The figure dissolved into shadows as she stepped back, heart racing violently, while the orange glow pulsed rhythmically, like a heartbeat of the house itself, compelling her to continue moving forward, even as fear screamed at her to flee. She moved cautiously, flashlight sweeping across the room, illuminating a desk with an open drawer revealing a dusty diary, its pages chronicling visitors who never left, warnings about whispers, and advice for those foolish enough to enter unprepared. Emily's fingers trembled as she reached for the diary, brushing away dust, revealing pages filled with chilling descriptions of past intruders, names eerily familiar, and repeated warnings that anyone who listened to the house's whispers risked vanishing completely. The whispers intensified as she read aloud a passage, the words vibrating through the air around her, bending reality subtly, drawing her deeper into the oppressive environment of the house, until she could feel its intent focusing entirely on her presence. A floorboard groaned nearby, echoing ominously, reminding her she was not alone, that someone, or something, was moving just beyond her vision, invisible yet undeniably present, scrutinizing her every reaction with calculated patience and intent to frighten. The walls pulsed slightly, as if breathing, and the portrait's eyes subtly shifted following her, while the whispers formed coherent sentences warning her of countless visitors before her who vanished entirely, claiming the house as its own without resistance. Emily's flashlight flickered violently as a shadow darted across the room, leaving no trace, while she felt an oppressive weight pressing from all sides, and the diary trembled in her hands, pages fluttering as if alive, responding to the unseen presence around her. A sudden scraping sound came from behind the staircase, making her spin quickly, revealing nothing, yet she felt the diary respond to energy she could not see, showing one line repeated across multiple pages. "Do not stay, or you will be ours tonight. Ours." The orange glow engulfed the doorway entirely, casting Emily's shadow across walls, twisting unnaturally, stretching toward the darkness beyond, while whispers chanted her full name, rhythmic and deliberate, resonating with a force that made her heart pound uncontrollably. She stepped closer to the doorway, drawn by curiosity and terror, and the air thickened, smelling of burning wood and metal, pressing against her lungs, warning her that lingering would integrate her soul into the house's living memory permanently. A low guttural hum began vibrating through the floor, resonating in her chest, synchronizing unnervingly with her heartbeat, as the house seemed to claim her presence, insisting she move deeper into its shadowy, whispering heart, despite her mounting fear. Emily's mind raced, attempting rational explanations, yet whispers grew louder, now human enough to recount previous visitors' fates, terrifyingly intimate details, which she had no wish to experience, yet could not resist listening to, haunted by the voices around her. The floorboards pulsed subtly in response to whispers, and faint scraping echoed across the room, signaling movement from a presence just beyond her vision, deliberate and patient, observing her hesitation as though evaluating whether she could endure what lay ahead. A sharp chill brushed past her neck, and the diary pages flipped violently in her hands, revealing detailed passages of those who never returned, each one warning Emily that remaining would result in becoming yet another voice, whispering for eternity. Emily noticed a door partially obscured behind hanging drapes, orange light flickering from beneath, inviting her to step inside, while the air grew heavy with anticipation, as though the house's very walls awaited the intrusion of a new visitor into its secret chambers. The whispers became sentences, intelligible, recounting each step she had taken since entering, describing her appearance, her fears, her heartbeat, and even her thoughts, as if the house itself had developed a consciousness, observing and interacting with her mind. Her flashlight caught movement in a corner, nothing visible, yet she felt pressure on her shoulders, as though unseen hands leaned close, making her spin violently, only to reveal the room empty, confirming the whispers were somehow connected to presence beyond perception. The diary trembled as she continued reading aloud, each word seeming to alter the environment slightly, shadows bending unnaturally toward her voice, floorboards shifting subtly beneath, and whispers repeating names of previous victims, reinforcing a history of countless disappearances. A metallic clink echoed from above. Footsteps moved in rhythm with her heartbeat, and Emily realized the entire house pulsed with intention, shadows following her, whispers growing in strength, creating a sensation that the building itself was alive and actively interacting with her. Emily reached the partially open door, pushing it slowly, revealing a staircase descending into absolute darkness, orange glow casting long shadows along crumbling walls, the air thick with heat and faint metallic scent, signaling her arrival at the house's hidden inner sanctum. Her breath caught as she descended, the house seeming to contract around her, walls closing in subtly, whispers growing louder, chanting her name, describing her every movement, while she felt invisible eyes monitoring her, evaluating every hesitation with deliberate precision. The staircase twisted unnaturally, impossibly long, extending deeper than any building plan suggested, forcing Emily to navigate cautiously, as though gravity and perspective itself had shifted, further unsettling her mind while the whispers pressed into her consciousness like a living entity. Emily's flashlight illuminated a small chamber, walls lined with faded portraits of long-deceased family members of previous visitors, shadows moving independently of the light, the whispers becoming intelligible sentences that hinted at secrets hidden deep below the house for decades. Emily's hands shook violently as she explored the chamber, realizing the walls themselves seemed to breathe and whisper, air thick with centuries of secrets and cries, while her mind struggled to differentiate reality from the house's manipulative illusions.